So I was planning out my schedule for the next week and mulling over some video ideas while watching some other crypto YouTube videos. I like to leave videos on in the background when I'm working, and as Tony Robbins says, success breeds clues. So I like to take notes on how other crypto miners do their content and how I can improve my content in the process. So a video popped up on my feed from Rabid Mining, who's, by the way, a fantastic content creator. If you are not following him, you definitely should. And it's titled, GPU Mining About to Get Wrecked. Again, I'll link it down below so everyone can watch it. But, like Rabid's video, this video is my opinion, which I will back up with what I think are credible enough facts to prove my opinion. So let's start with my personal stats. Am I currently profitable GPU mining? As you can see here, this is what it cost me to run my farm per day and how I got it. You can see the different circuits, how much watts they use, the total kilowatt hours, and then you can see my bill breakdown, how I have a 0.077 distribution fee. My delivery fee is flat, which allows me to actually lower my kilowatt hours with the more power I use, which is why you have this chart up right in front of you. And then you can see my total rate per kilowatt hour. Now again, this is not including my house. This is only everything that is currently being used for mining. You get a kilowatt rate per hour of 0.10, so 10 cents. And then you can see in the next chart how I figure out how much it costs to operate my farm per day, which essentially is everything, all the power that I'm using minus the power that I provide for my hosting service. So you can see it costs me about $49.70 per day. Basically, I get that by taking my total usage per day, my total usage per month, and just dividing it by 31. And then you can see I make about $1 per day profit in hosting. So that brings my total cost down to about $48.66. Then you can see what I'm making GPU mining. The coins I'm currently mining are ZIL, Nexa, Radiant, Ergo, and Conflux. I'm making about $44.76 per day mining right now. So I am currently at a total of losing $3.92 per day. Now, however, when you take out the fact that I'm a business and I can write off my power, which I can write off about $11.43 per day, then you're looking at I am profitable by about $7, give or take. I don't really take that into consideration right now. I just kind of look at the total profit without the power write-off. I like to be safe than sorry, and I just rather be more conservative in my numbers. So I'm currently, quote-unquote, losing $3.92 a day before writing off my power. Now, I know some people will say, well, CryptMan, it's just cheaper to buy the coin. And I disagree, and I'm going to go over why. 3 reasons I disagree why. The first reason I disagree is because moving a lot of your money to these small exchanges, converting it, moving it back is a nightmare for tax purposes, and you do get eaten with fees, and depending on what you exchange with, by the time you take the fees into consideration with how little I'm losing per day, I would actually be breaking even or losing a little bit more money if I were just to buy the coins. The second reason is because I'm a business, I can write off my power. As you've already seen, I can write off about $11.43 per day in power, which I cannot do if I'm just buying the coin. And finally, I have equipment. At the end of the day, while the 3070s and all my other GPUs are not worth as much as I paid during the bull run, which I only paid MSRP, I did buy a lot of them for this price during the bear market, and all my GPUs are paid off, so if I ever needed to sell for whatever reason, they are an asset that is worth something, whereas if you buy the coin, you have none of those assets. Now that we have my farm numbers out of the way, I would like to talk a little bit about some of the points Rabid brings up in his video. Now again, he's a fantastic content creator, and I just wanted to give my opinion on some of the things he's saying. So, in my humble opinion, as GPU miners, you should not be mining Caspa and ETC. Their yield is very low. If you look at the hash rate, Caspa is just off its all-time high from April, and you should basically have stopped mining it once the hash jumped to its all-time high, which was about a 35 to 40% jump about 2 months ago. And ETC has basically stayed the same, I want to say, for close to the past year, but it has been unprofitable since the start, and even if it goes back up to its all-time high, you will still barely break even if you've been mining it since the merge. There are two sides of the mining spectrum. On one side, you have miners that fire off their miners and forget about them. And then on the other, you have miners that constantly check sites like Bitcoin.talk to find the next best thing and are willing to change coins daily to find the most profitability. I would argue that most of us are somewhere in the middle of that. Now, once Caspa becomes even more unprofitable with the KS0s and the KS1s and KS2s releasing in mass, it's still going to take a long time for GPU miners to switch, if they even switch at all. Look at how many GPU miners are still mining ASIC-dominated coin like ETC. So I would argue that if they haven't already left when the hash rate fell off a cliff 2 months ago, I can't see them leaving now. So I also want to reiterate that since we are in a bear market, you should be chasing yield, not profit. Yes, I check hashrate.no daily just because it's a popular site to check, and it is checked by a lot of people, and sometimes you see hash move in response to then I do the real work. I check mining pool stats and track coin yields, because that is where the real profit is. Also, as a GPU miner in a bear market, until we hit the next bull run and there is one ETH-like coin that comes out, if it ever comes out, GPUs will always be the first in to mine a coin and the first out. We are seeing it right now with Caspa, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we see it. So every time you see someone saying it is gloom and doom, we're getting kicked off a coin, where are we going to go next, there will always be another coin to mine. And the good thing about GPUs versus ASICs and FPGAs, it takes almost no work to point your farm to the next big coin. I remember in January when I started mining Nexa, everybody said, "What's Nexa? And why are you wasting your time mining it?" And look where we're at now. It is the third most mined coin on HiveOS at 7%, actually. So this leads me to my next point. Post-merge, there is a very narrow profitability for GPU miners right now. And I would argue somewhere around 16 cents is the cutoff. Again, this is just my opinion, and there are a lot of factors that affect this. And I have shown in past videos, you basically need current gen or newer software to really be profitable in GPU mining. You should be selling everything older than a 3000 series or a 6000 series on AMD's side. Check out my playlist on GPU miners to see which ones are profitable and which ones are not. There was a series on Reddit a few months back talking about where all the post-merge GPU hardware went. And I remember reading one of the last ones around February or March of this year that we were about left with 15% of pre-merge hardware on. I am not sure if those numbers have changed or not, but since my profitability is within, I would say, about 20 to 30% of where it's been when the coins were at their all-time high this year, I would make a very, very broad assumption that it is not, and that there is only a very small percent of miners, 15% or less, that are still mining. And I would argue that if you're still here and fall into this range, you have survived the bear market, and it is going to take a lot, as in a very, very big price appreciation, coins to go up 10x in value, to add more miners onto that, which means I think that if you are still mining now, you are safe, and you will be safe for the foreseeable future as long as you continue to do what you're doing and to do things like chase yield, not profit. Finally, if you are still GPU mining, this is where the profits are made. Pre-merge, so many people said it would be much, much worse than it is now. And for a few months this year, I was actually seeing ETH-like profits in somewhere between February, March, and April. Now, I understand not everybody can pay for their power out of pocket. I personally am only paying half of my power bill. But even if you can only hold about 25% of the coins you're mining, which means you're paying for about 75% of your power bill with the coins that you're mining, then in my non-expert opinion, and this is not financial advice, you should do it, because this is where you make your profits. You mine now and you sell later, and everything should pay dividends during the next bull run, whenever that happens. That said, at the end of the day, you know your situation much better than myself or any other YouTuber who has an opinion on the subject, and only you know what the correct decision is for you. And honestly, only time will tell who ended up betting correctly, because at the end of the day, we're all taking bets and hoping that we're right. As for me, I love GPU mining. It's a lot of fun. I have learned so much since I started. I can't wait to see what the future holds. And I love walking through the shed, watching everything work, doing all the daily maintenance. Somehow I enjoy it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Croupman out.